Hey everyone, this is Innovators Mindset with the Dawn Bridges. Here we go. Dawn. Listen, Dawn and I connected with Dawn a little while ago and she is incredible. I just love her to pieces already. And she is the Associate Director of IASA, the Illinois Association. Sorry, let me do this. Illinois, tell me the whole thing. I'm terrible with acronyms.
Illinois Association of School Administrators, the Superintendent's Association.
Yeah, and I am so excited because you have asked me to keynote in October. I will tell you this is like a bucket list for me. So I am so excited because I know that your organization is just doing incredible work. And I don't know if you know this about me. I'm a huge Bears fan. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Right. So it's just a
That's
bonus.
amazing.
I grew up loving Walter Payton. The fridge is my favorite player. Can I wear when I do the keynote? Can I wear a Bears jersey? Like, would that make?
You do you. I believe you do you. But
Okay,
remember,
that's a subtle don't. That's a subtle don't.
yeah, that
I
would be a
gotcha.
subtle don't. Yes.
I gotcha.
I,
I gotcha.
I think the more divide in Illinois is really around baseball, like Cardinals versus Cubs. That's a thing, I will
Okay.
say. So
All right. Don't. So I got you. Don't wear a Bears jersey. I can mention it. Don't bring the
sure.
jersey. I
Fair.
got you. So Don, before we get into anything about the conference, anything about the organization, can you just tell a little bit about who you are, what do you do today, and how you got there? I think that's the best place to start.
Sure. Absolutely. This is my 34th year in education. So way older than you think. I like to say that I'm the grandmother who's been around the block for many
Come
years.
on. Come on.
Started as a eighth grade reading language arts teacher and became a reading specialist and elementary school principal. Let's see, what else did I do? A special ed coordinator, um, associate superintendent for teaching and learning, and of course, walked away from a superintendent job. Funny that to go into the private sector for a while. And I worked nationally and did a lot of things supporting change, really. How do you create systems and professional learning to get results for students? And my dissertational work was around specifically that. It was really at the brink of Hattie's work.
Mhm.
And so really, really enjoyed that. And I'm now here at IASA. This is my third year, loving it. We've really worked to create a lot of opportunities to meet the needs of all of our members and leaders across our state for professional learning, whatever they need, whatever a district needs. We want to be there as that support system for them.
You know, when every time I've talked to you and all the work that I've seen is that I understand you have a big emphasis on leadership, but you're very grounded in teaching. Like that's something
Yes.
that I see in just in the conversations, like what you just brought up. And this is, I know you've seen this too, that sometimes the superintendency, that position, people are like, oh, like I don't want to do this because I wouldn't be connected with kids. I'm like, well, that's kind of you. That's kind of your decision there too. Because I think if you don't really understand teaching and learning, there's you got only so much to do. So like, how have you? And I think that's really when I'm looking at the sessions, when I'm looking at the stuff, it is all about supporting teachers, supporting students. How has that always kind of stayed at the forefront of the work that you're doing to ensure that this is about really helping just create the best experience for our kids in our classrooms?
Mhm. I think that alignment is critical. I want to believe that we have to work hard to make sure that we keep our superintendents and our district leaders recognizing the eye of the prize, which is student outcomes. And, we are in a world today that is just, you get easily taken away from those pieces, with whatever's going on. There's always a crisis that's going on. And I think it's important for us to make sure that we keep and stay grounded to say, like, everything we do needs to have purpose. And it should always align to making the best outcomes that we can have for students. And so that's everything I do. I want to make sure that it makes sense. Time is a commodity. How do we make sure that we have time to better ourselves, to invest in ourselves, and to do great things for kids? And so I want to make sure that when I take you out of your office to come to participate in something, that it's going to be worth your time and that you're going to get something from it. And so I take great pride in offering the highest quality professional learning, which is why I chose to bring you as our keynote.
Just sort of compliment there at the end. I appreciate that. Well, here, and I'm very sincere about how much this means to me to be there. And it's not because it's not just the Bears thing, right? It is a little bit the Bears thing, right? Like it's a little bit of that. I grew up, in a small town Canada and just kind of idolizing the Chicagoland area. And I know Illinois is much bigger than Chicago, obviously. And that's one of the reasons, because I've actually been in so many school districts in Illinois, and just incredible work. The thing, and we were kind of talking about this before the podcast. I've been in several of them since, and I've kind of mentioned it, and they all love you, and so that really connects with me, because I think when the talk that I'm going to do, it's not to say like, hey, you should do the things that I'm talking about because they're not happening. It's like these things are already happening in Illinois schools, and so in school districts, how do we like make this where we're learning from each other? We're all connecting. So how have you created that organization in that space? Because I know that you're very personalized and focusing on what your members need, but also like bringing people together. How are you creating that space where they at that conference are really have that opportunity to learn from already amazing stuff happening in Illinois? Because that's something that but way prior, I don't know if you know this, but when I was in Naperville, I showed an example of something that was really awesome that I didn't know was actually from Naperville. Mm. And they're like, that's our schools. And I was like, oh, I had no clue. And so like, I've been influenced in all areas, and that shows how much there's already great stuff. So how are you creating that space so that people really can learn from each other at that event as well?
I think one of the greatest opportunities that I have, I always like to say, like, as a principal, you get the opportunity to go into classrooms every day and like take seeds and be that pollinator. And I feel like in the role that I have now at IASA, I get to go around the state and have conversations with superintendents all across the state and be that pollinator, learning around what are you doing and how can we actually elevate you. And so one of the things that we changed when I first started in this role was bringing in more opportunities for breakout sessions, less sit and get, more roundtable discussions that you can actually come in and have conversations around navigating politics, navigating, crisis. What does reunification look like in your, whatever the topic is, but coming to the table and actually sitting down and convening and having great discourse around helping each other out is something that I feel like has been built up through how we're offering this conference. And I think it's helped get a lot more people who want to come. They were sick and tired of just sitting and, the sit and get kind of thing only, so less keynote time, although it's impactful, it's energizing, it's how we need to start. And I'm excited because I know that with our topic, you are laying the foundation for what's next, which is just going to then leap them into the next conversations that they're going to be able to have with one another. And that's where my excitement comes.
Well, this is something I really appreciate about our conversation so far. When we were discussing this opportunity that I could join you all, is I explicitly told you that I would love to keynote, and I was very honored that you asked me, but I want to do a breakout too. And I want to have, and I explained it to you, and it's not your typical breakout. Because I said, listen, they're all going to hear me. So for me to do like a mini keynote in a smaller room, that's not interesting to me. And I don't think it's helpful to the participants. It is really about like, what do you need from what I just said? You all heard me talk. So let's have that conversation. And I actually got an email today. It's like, hey, do you have slides for the session? I'm like, no, because I have no idea what they're going to ask. So like, I'm going to figure it out too. And I will tell you this, the thing that really stood out to me, and I really appreciate it, and you just modeled it in what you talked about, you were like really excited. Whereas sometimes it's like, hey, we need to be innovative, but also you need to do it the way it's always been done, to like throw that, because like it's not everyone's comfortable with what I said. Like, hey, and
Mhm.
I'm like, well, no, we're trying to honor. So how you kind of figured out, through the process, like, hey, this is what our people are asking for. And we don't want to limit this, because I think that's one of the things I really appreciate about how you've organized the conference and how you set it up. It is meant to be really conversational. It is meant to go 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 backwards from the learner needs, which district leaders and school, principals are always asking teachers to do for kids, but not necessarily that's the experience at conference, and that's what you're setting up. So how have you like created that? Because some people, they want to know everything ahead of time. So how have you
Yep.
created that space, and maybe made people comfortable with it? Because I don't know, not everyone is.
That's a hard question to actually answer, because I think that in Illinois is a wide state. Like, everyone is coming in from different. We want to make sure that we're providing needs for rural, urban, suburban, large,
Mhm.
small, and most of them are rural, and they all come from a different lens and landscape. And I think about the role of the superintendency, it's also very different. Many of these superintendents are coming to the table playing multiple roles with many hats, right? That HR, I mean, they're doing all of the things. And so it's about meeting people where they are and asking them. I'm constantly asking, what do you need? How can we help support? What are those things? And so I feel like when you show up authentically yourself and you can sort of help provide and listen, I think that's when you can provide the space that people need to be to give them what they need.
With one of the superintendents I saw, and you just nailed it. I can't remember his last name. It's Shannon in
Mm,
Moments,
yep, Shannon
and
Anderson. Mhm.
and incredible. And one of the things that was really cool is that it wasn't just his district; it was multiple districts, because it's a smaller community. And I remember, first of all, you're like, Shannon's awesome, and then I saw Shannon, and Shannon's like, Dawn's awesome. So there's like a little awesome party going on. But I went there, and I remember distinctly driving, and I'm like, is there a town? Like, is there a town coming up? And I pulled in, and it was interesting because growing up in Canada, when I think of Illinois, I think of Chicago, and it's like you have a perception, and then you have this really small community. And the thing that I loved about it, it felt like the town I grew up in when I drove, like in Humboldt, Saskatchewan, Canada. That's what Moments, Illinois. So immediately connected with me, and I think that's something that matters. Is we're not looking at it from one perspective. That probably why I can't wear a Bears jersey, because you unfortunately got some Packer fans that are gonna be there too. I get you. I got you. So here is my, and this is putting me on the spot now, because I know this is we talked about this before. You have high expectations, right?
I
And it's
do. I
you
do.
do, you do, and I know, like, first of all, don't suck. That's one thing. Make sure I don't suck. If I do a good job on that day serving your community and this great organization, how do I know I've done a good job? Like, what is your, when you talk high expectations, what do you expect from me? I'm putting it on the
Um,
spot because we're sending this out, so everyone's gonna know.
well, I mean, I'm hoping that you're going to get a standing ovation. Like, that's that. Actually, people being able to walk away and know that they're taking practical things and ideas and concepts back to their ranch and thinking, I can do this. You know what? I feel like I can move forward together. Being a superintendent is a very isolating role. And I want people to walk away feeling like they're not alone. And we got you. And when we think about the next 250 years and charting the course for education, and Dr. Clark, our executive director, says this all the time. Like, Illinois is an amazing state to be a superintendent.
Hmm.
The education opportunities in Illinois are amazing, and we trailblaze in many ways. But you can't do it alone,
Right.
and we need to bring people together to be able to do that. And I feel like when people walk away and they feel like we can do this together, we
Hmm.
are going to move forward together. Um, and let's go, let's do this. That's the energy that I want people to walk away with having.
Well, I was telling you this before. I saw the description that you and your team wrote, and I know I was like, I had chills, and I'm like, oh, wow. And like, I really appreciate it because, I just really, your kind words about me. But this line got me. George's message is a timely reminder that education's next chapter will be written by leaders who choose to build together. And the thing that I know I'm really adamant about, I hate the term buy-in. It really bothers me because I feel it's like a nice way to say I'm going to manipulate you to do what I want you to do, right? And it's going to feel good when you do it. I'm really about ownership, and that's what really connected with me. And part of my job on that day, this is what I believe. I'm not telling anyone how to do their job. That is not my role at all. I'm sharing some stories and connection, but it's really about ownership, that people see their fingerprints on the solutions at all levels. And I'm talking families, I'm talking, school communities. And I'm not going to get into the specifics of this because it's not my story to tell. I saw in Illinois, and I know it's not your state, I saw in Indiana, I saw some things this summer that adversity was thrown at people. And that like leadership is really easy. When things are easy, it's easy. You find
Mm-hmm.
out. And the things that I saw from organizations, when I just happened to be there on the day, it was incredible how they dealt with adversity, supported each other. And I believe this: schools are not central to our communities. They are communities. And that is something I'm very adamant about. And I just think you've done such a good job. And so here is like my last question for you on this day. So I know there's other people that are there. What is like so you have high expectations for me, but do you know what I love about you? You have high expectations for you. So the people leave the car, and I love that because listen, you will have high expectations for me. My expectations for myself are way higher than yours. And I think that's why we've connected so well, is because, we both set. So beyond my keynote, what do you hope participants, when they walk away from that event, because it's not just about me, I'm a small factor in that, what's the whole event? You are happy with yourself. What does that feel like?
Ooh. Um, I
Oh
would
no,
be
you're like me a little bit. No matter how happy you are, you're totally happy.
right,
Oh
exactly.
no. Oh no, I saw it there. I saw it. I have that same issue.
I will say, what would make me happy and feel like I completely had success was people walking away saying, I am never gonna not come to this conference.
Mhm.
Like honestly, like I got, people saying I got so much from this, whether it's my bucket was filled, I learned a ton, I, became part of a bigger network or community, whatever the thing was that we offered, that they got so much from it that they were already like, yep, I'm ready to come next year. Because it was, again, we talked about time being a commodity, right? Like people saying, I'm already going to book and I'm already going to be thinking about wanting to be here next year because they found the learning high quality, they found it worth their time, and they work to build better networking relationships from whomever, and they're not going to miss it. And that sounds kind of cliche, but doing this a long time, I know that that's it. And when people are like, yep, we're buying what she's selling.
Mhm. So I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna go back to
Oh,
circle.
and another question.
No. I'm gonna close this up because I actually said to
Okay.
you at the beginning, one of the things that I really appreciate about you is that you're very rooted in teaching and learning. And the thing that you are expecting for yourself is also the thing I know you and I both expect, is how do we create amazing experiences for our schools that kids want to come back every single day. And it's like, well, hey, you want to do that? You got to create experiences for the adults where they're excited too. And so like that, it's like basically that's what I really connect with you about. It's like we want to, what we're asking people to do in our communities, we want to do that for the leadership, we want to do that for our teachers, because then it becomes so easy to do it for students. Because if people feel appreciated and valued, they're going to create the same. So there's so many things that we connect on, but I will tell you that you're like, yeah, no matter how good it is, I'll like want it to be better. I did see that. I was like, oh, that's my face. I've done that before. So I do love that, because that, we should have, if you ask people to do stuff, you gotta, you have to have expectations of yourself too, because people see that. So listen, I cannot wait. I cannot believe I have to wait. I want this to be right now. But it is coming up right away in October. I am so no, wait, sorry. October 1st is the day I'm there, but I think it's the 30th it starts, September 30th.
That's accurate. September
Yeah.
30th. Yep.
I'm going to be there early. I'm going to be there. I'm not just keynote dipping. I'm going to be there because I want to be around all the people there too. So I am so honored that you invited me, because I hope people get better because of me. I know I'm going to get better because of the conference and what you do. So thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. Excited to have you. It's going to be great. Lots of surprises. So do not miss
That's right.
either.
So, hey, everyone, thank you for listening, and I hope we create this experience in all our schools. I can't wait to see you all at IASA. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for all you do. Take care.